Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be taking a look at Arthur Morgan's secret confessions that he can have in chapters 2, 3, 4, and 6 if he is a bad outlaw. So I'm not sure if having low honor is required for something like this, because I've seen individuals have these confessions with high honor. I think it's literally if Arthur does bad things, like he kills people or hurts animals or something along those lines, he'll have confessions with some of the ladies of the gang, Karen, Mary Beth, and Tilly. And I think this is really cool because Tilly, Mary Beth, and Karen, although they don't have massive roles in the main story of the game, like going out with you on missions and fighting other gangs and outlaws, the fact that they have these really cool like side missions and side quests and stories, I think is incredible. So we're going to start in chapter 2 because that is where you can actually have the first confession, and we will build our way all the way up to chapter 6.
Why don't you sit, Arthur? You okay, Arthur?
I guess.
You seem kind of worried.
Of course I'm worried.
What about?
The whole world's changing. Even I see that now. Our time is pretty much past. They don't want folk like us no more. This there rules will be damned with you. No more outlaws. No more killers. Now it's us being hunted. Oh, they ain't stopping. We went and made our choices a long time ago, so I guess we gotta pay for our sins.
Oh, Arthur. What a sad world we live in.
Well, I ain't sad, Mary Beth. I'm realistic about what's coming. But I keep killing animals needlessly. And I don't know.
Arthur. Oh, Arthur. You're the only one of these fools knows just how lost he is.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
Okay, so that's the first conversation that Arthur has with Mary Beth, and that one occurs in chapter 2. And this one is very interesting because Arthur starts to talk about how he's worried and how the world seems to be changing. And that's a theme we see throughout Red Dead Redemption 2, is that Arthur and Dutch and his outlaw gang, they are no longer an acceptable part of society, especially as they start moving further and further to the east, where government is starting to form, towns and cities are starting to arrive with law and sheriff that don't want these outlaw gangs. And Mary Beth talks about how the world is changing and how, they are becoming the hunted now. And by the way, I should have said this earlier, but if you want to have one of these conversations, you need to see a question mark at camp. So you might have wondered what those question marks are. Well, if you see that, that's what we're having right now, these conversations. And they typically take place like behind one of the wagons where you can both sit down and talk to each other. So that's typically where they'll be located. So that's the first conversation you can have right there. You can also have another conversation in chapter 2, this time with Karen. Take a listen to this.
What have you been up to, Arthur? You look odd. You want to talk?
I don't know. I just don't feel myself.
Been out a lot.
Sure.
Anything fun?
I've been bad. I've seen all these people who needed help, and I just ignored them.
That's it.
Well, also killed a bunch of innocent folk. I don't know why.
What's wrong with you, Arthur?
I just get so angry. About everything. About how this is gonna end.
Well, it'll only end well if you keep your mind, Arthur. We need you.
I know.
So once again, that is Arthur talking about how he's been doing a bunch of bad things, killing innocent folk, hurting animals and whatnot. And Karen basically reinforces to Arthur that, the gang needs them. And I almost think this is a bit of foreshadowing because we see as Arthur starts to become sick later on, which we'll talk about, the gang starts to fall apart. And I think that those are connected. I don't think they're mere coincidences. So I think this is pretty cool. Again, I always liked Karen Jones. I don't think we saw enough of her character being utilized. She really fell into the path of drinking and I think alcoholism almost as the game progressed. But that's another conversation that you can have with Karen. Now, our next conversation actually happens in Chapter 4 when the gang is at Shady Belle. And this happens with Mary Beth once again. Arthur can talk to her and they'll discuss sort of the things he's been doing recently.
You okay, Arthur?
Sure.
You don't look okay.
I'm fine.
What you been doing?
How's it going?
Acting like a fool.
How so?
Killing and robbing folks I didn't need to.
My, you have been busy.
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
You're a good man, Arthur. Underneath, I mean.
I've lost my mind, Mary Beth. It's finally happened. I don't feel in control.
Just stay calm and do what you do best.
It seems I'm best in mayhem. Sure, I'm no better than Micah.
Yes, you are. Just do what you gotta do and stop getting into trouble.
Are you well? We'll see.
Wow, so that's interesting. Arthur, who despises Micah, just compared himself to Micah because of all the bad things we were doing, or he was doing. And he says he doesn't feel like he's fully in control. And again, I think that goes along with the theme of Red Dead Redemption 2, how Dutch is just stringing everyone along. And we see that throughout the story. Arthur really isn't in control. It's Dutch's plan the entire time. But it is interesting, like you heard there, that he compares himself to Micah. Now, we can also hear a very similar conversation in Chapter 4. This time, this happens with Tilly.
You okay, Arthur? You want to talk?
Yes.
What's been going on with you?
I don't know. I've
What?
been acting kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. How so?
I've been killing. A lot. I mean, innocent folk. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's bad, Arthur. That's real bad.
I know. Well, you know me.
Sure. I know you. But then you go act all crazy.
You're up, but I've always been crazy.
No, you haven't.
Maybe Mike could put a spell on me.
And maybe you're just being a fool.
Well, there's always that.
So that was a similar conversation where Arthur basically compares himself to Micah. This time he said, Micah put a spell on him to act like him. So again, kind of interesting that as we get further on through the game, Arthur starts to think he's no better than Micah. Now, the final one of these confessions is by far the most brutal, and it occurs in Chapter 6, where basically Arthur reveals to Mary Beth that he's sick and doesn't have much time.
You okay, Arthur? Sit down, please.
I'm fine.
You don't look fine.
Well, I had some bad news.
Was it Mary?
No, not exactly. It's me. I'm sick.
Sick?
Yeah. Might die.
Oh. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
Maybe you'll get better.
I don't think so.
Then I'm sorry.
Only the thing is, since then, I've started seeing things differently. I don't know. The whole world seems different somehow.
How so?
I can't explain it. Like better, almost.
That a good thing?
I guess it is. Only sometimes I ain't doing the good thing.
Maybe it's a sign, Arthur. Try. Try to do the good thing.
I guess. Only it ain't always clear what that is. Not with the big stuff.
I know. Trust me, I know.
So that was very wholesome right there, and it's pretty clear that Mary Beth knows that Arthur's time is limited. Arthur obviously knows that his time is limited. So you have these confessions if you do bad things in the world, and that is pretty cool. And I had never known about this until now. It's amazing the things you can discover even after the game's been out for 4 or 5 months, which to me is just crazy. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Have you had any of these confessions in Red Dead Redemption 2? If you have, be sure to let me know in the comments down below, and what did you think of them? If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.